1, 2, 3, 4. It's getting late over in the evening. I feel like blowing my horn. When I woke up this morning, all I had was gone. It's getting late over in the evening. I feel like blowing my horn. Yeah, when I woke up this morning, all I had was gone. You know the brooks run to the ocean runs to the sea. If I don't find my baby child, somebody gonna sure bury me. You know the brooks run to the ocean. That old ocean runs to the sea. If I don't find my baby child, somebody gonna sure bury me. Yeah, now the minutes seem like hours, the hours seem like days. It seems like my baby child was double the evil way. You know the minutes seem like hours, them old hours seem like days. Well, it seems like my baby child was double all the evil ways. Here we go now.
Listening to Big Blend Radio's Toast of the Arts show, airing live with Nancy and Lisa from the historic Homestead Inn in 29 Palms, California. And you just heard I Feel Like Going Home. It's an old Muddy Waters tune, and it's featured as the first track on the album Goin' Home. It is the 8th album by San Francisco-based composer and multi-instrumentalist Blind Lemon Pledge. His real name is James Byfield. So
there you go.
Bringing him back on the show again today. So happy to have him here. And this album is freaking awesome. You got to go get it. It's on Amazon, or just go right to James's website. It's blindlemon-pledge.com. He's also on Facebook under Blind Pledge, and he's on Reverb Nation. He's on Twitter, and of course, again, go to Amazon. So welcome back, James, or should I say Blind Lemon? How are
Well,
you?
you can say James. We're friends.
I know.
Good,
Hey, well,
good to talk to you guys again. Been about a year. Good, always good to come back and talk to you gals.
yeah, you too. Actually, I think it has actually been a little sooner than that. We're actually
Yeah, it
ahead
probably has been. Right,
because of
cause my
after
other.
hours. Yeah, the
Right.
after.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking, yeah, because we didn't get to talking about that one until later in the year. So, yeah. So
Yeah.
here I am again, another album.
Hey,
I
and
can't tell if my release time is genius or disaster.
I don't
or
know.
this.
Well,
I think people might need the blues, though.
yeah. I think we're all feeling it. Everybody's quarantined at home, and sitting there. And music is, there's so many live streams going on. It's really, I think music is, other than taking a walk with your mask on, some people are trying to jog with their masks on.
Oh
You know,
yeah.
I feel like we're in like nuclear war or something. But, music is, I think, taking care of us a lot, and musicians are, and it's really affected the music world as well, the industry. So many
Oh
musicians
yeah.
not being able to play. But you've also not only released this album, but you're also doing a string of videos, so we get to watch you play too.
Well, the interesting thing about this album was I filmed it and recorded it at the same time. So I hadn't really planned on it being an album. I was really just trying to make some performance videos with my bass player because we often perform as a duet. And so we filmed it in a studio, but we just set up a single camera, and recorded it in the studio. And about a year ago, for some reason, I hadn't looked at those videos for a long time. I have them up on the web, but I just never looked at it again. And I was looking at them, and I went, "Boy, that really sounds good." So I decided I would turn that into my next album. So I still had all the tracks, and I called up this good friend of mine, Craig Dukes with Transparency Audio, and sent him a track and said, "Can you make this really sound great?" And he came back with something that I thought was wonderful. So we went with the album.
Oh, I love it.
Cool.
This is one of my favorite of yours. But then I say that, but then you start digging in, and you're like, okay, wait, I like this
But
one
I like
too.
that.
I know.
I like this.
So this is, before we brought you on, we were talking about this is kind of one of those defining albums. I think, listening to it, it just feels like your heart and soul's in it, and it's just so real. I love that you don't clutter music, that you keep it simple and keep the integrity, and just keep it very real, so you can feel it.
Well,
note.
this was the simplest yet because it was just me and a
Yeah.
bass player, so it was fun. And this I'd always wanted to make an album of the kind of music that really inspired me when I was a kid, the pre-war blues stuff, and never quite had figured out how to do it. I kept thinking it was going to be an album of originals, and then this came along, and I just went, God, I don't really hardly record covers very much, so I thought I'd do an album of mostly covers.
And you've got a couple of your own on here. You got
they were again that because we didn't know we were doing it. I think if I had been planning on doing an album, I probably would have kept it all covers. But because I had them, I just thought, well, I'll just slip them in and see how they fit in the mix. Partly what I did on the CD cover itself was not list the credits for the songs, which. Just so that nobody would pay attention to that there were two of my originals slipped in, so it'd all be kind of one big group of songs, like you'd hear at a campfire.
Yeah.
The whole idea was kind of like sitting around your living room or a campfire or something, just trading songs.
I dig it. And tell me about the guitar work, because it's got that classic old school Robert Johnson.
Swampy.
Yeah, I feel swampy. I feel bottlenecky.
Well, it is. I play two different kinds of guitar. I play a regular 6-string tuned to standard tuning, and then I also play a steel-bodied slide guitar, which gives it that real stingy sound. And I usually use either open A or open E tuning on that. And I didn't actually play slide for many years, although I played guitar since I was about 14. It was only about 12 years ago when I kind of came up with the Blind Lemon Pledge character and started recording albums that I got into slide, and suddenly it was like, oh, why haven't I done this my whole life? So so that's what that is. And then it is interesting because when I was looking around to buy a slide guitar, a guitar specifically for slide, stumbled upon a Fender steel body, and it really had the sound I liked. So that's what I've gone with. It's not standard. People usually get Dobros or Nationals or something, but mine's a Fender.
Yeah, I was wondering about that because it sounded kind of national-like, you know. And then I want a cigar box guitar.
No, yeah, I have one of those too. Actually, they're cool. They're cool. There's a couple people online that make wonderful ones. You can find that are beautifully designed and stuff.
When we were in Hollister, there was a innkeepers that had them, and I remember having cocktails, really good cocktails, surrounded by cigar box guitars, and I was just, I don't know, maybe there was only one, and I was surrounded by cocktails and candy and cigar box guitars, and I was just like, we're all being, chit-chatty with all the other guests and everything, and all I wanted to do was run away with the guitar. Yeah. Like, I just wanted to, because it's so cool, and again, that simple sound, that's what I really, really love, and you get to feel the power of the words, and man, this really transports you. And also, it took me to songs that I've kind of forgotten too. I Know You Writer is one of them that I used to play in gigs, more like the Judy Henske style. It is Judy Henske, right? Is that the right name? I forgot it. But that's like a real. I mean, who wrote that originally? Judy?
That one's a traditional one. That's a traditional one. Yeah, that's actually. Way back when I was first learning guitar, I mean, it's a classic folk song that people just kind of learn. And there's lots and lots of versions. I think the Kingston Trio did a version. Of course, Grateful Dead had it a long time in their repertoire. And Hot Tuna has a version, and I bet you could just find lots of versions.
You can go anywhere with that song. I love songs like that. You can just I'm riding, man.
Well, I sort of decided to base my guitar work in it, which is very extremely rhythmic and fast, on the way the Everly Brothers used to play on their early guitar, their early songs. That kind of full-bodied, pushing it, lots of chords kind of thing. I like that sound.
And I want to give a big shout out for Crazy Mama. I am a big J.J. Cale fan, and there's just he's just got this sound I know Clapton's done a whole bunch of his music, but I always go back to Cale.
Oh yeah, I agree.
There's no offense to Clapton. I know Nancy, don't start, Nancy.
Well, just can you say there's warm and then there's cold?
Yeah. Oh boy, here we go.
That's all I said.
But Clapton has this. I don't know how to explain his guitar work, and it sounds like more than one guitar, but with air between.
Okay.
I don't know how to explain. Yeah, not Clapton, Cale, J.J. Cale's. That sound. I mean, it's just a very unique sound, and I thought the way you did that cover of it, Crazy Mama, is just brilliant. I love it.
No, thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, that's actually the only one that I did any overdubs on, because when I sent the stuff in to get mixed and mastered, I listened back and I thought that the vocals on that just weren't up to the rest of the album, so I did go in and recut the vocals on that, and I was real glad I did, because I suddenly had this whole idea of doing it in that whisper to kind of catch the J.J. Cale feel. So
cool.
Sounds like I succeeded.
Yeah, but you know what I mean about his guitar work too? It's not picking. It's not. I don't know how to explain the air part, but there's.
He just leaves a lot of space in his stuff, which is, I can't say he's like a big influence on me, but he's an influence in that way. I love music that has lots of air, like you say, space stuff. So every minute isn't filled. It's like you have pauses and dynamics and that kind of thing. And he's a master at it. Plus, just his songs are so. Bare bones. There's no fat on his songs. They're just exactly what you need.
Yeah.
It gives it time to sink into your brain.
Yeah.
So you can reflect, and then here comes another few notes, and then you can reflect, and here it comes again.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, can we play it? Because now we've talked about it so much. It's like
okay,
I want to play the whole album. It's so good, and I can't wait to get on the road with this, because it is a road tripping album for sure.
Music.
I know, and we're going east, so I know we're going to head east. That's who knows at this point, but, whenever they open the doors, I'm running and getting in the car and the music is on because, this is definitely a road trip album, and J.J. Cale to me him and Dylan take me, they take good care of me on the road, and so I can't wait to play this. So here it is. You know what? Wouldn't you like Bill Withers to have done something with J.J. Cale? Maybe
that
he did,
but
interesting.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's All right, here it is, everyone. Crazy Mama.
Crazy mama, where you been so long? Crazy mama, where you been so long? You've been hiding out, I know it's true. Crazy mama, I sure need you. Crazy mama, where you been so long? Standing on the corner, looking for you, babe. Standing on the corner, looking for you, babe. Lord mercy, I cannot see. Crazy mama coming after me. Crazy mama, where you been so long? Crazy mama, where you been so long? Crazy mama, where you been so long? You've been hiding out, I know it's true. Crazy mama, I sure need you. Crazy mama, where you been so long?
That was J.J. Cale's Crazy Mama, as covered by James Byfield on his new album, Goin' Home. And, of course, James is really Blind Lemon's Pledge. It's not the other way around. But you can get the album on Amazon right now, and also just go right to the website, Blind Lemon Pledge. So, James, it's that run. That's part of that run. There's that guitar run, the dun 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 dun. You know.
Yeah, the little walking bass thing I'm doing. Yeah,
yeah. There's that run that he does those kind of things, but it's all like this. It's like a laid back, but I'm gonna keep you in the pocket kind of. Yeah. I love that, man.
I want to also give a shout out to my great bass player Peter Grinnell. He really makes this album because without he gives this whole depth to it, and we play together so often that we just kind of think together. So it's really nice. It's almost like it's one instrument, and when we're locked in, and I really like that.
Yeah, see, that's it. There's a balance between you guys that is perfect. And I think when you play with someone for a long time, it's like you already know what someone's going to do, what they're going to say, right?
Yeah. He just we can lock into it, and it's so nice. Yeah, my band was originally designed. It's at full force. It's a quintet, but I designed it to be able to play in smaller units, so we could take on all kinds of gigs. And so Peter and I play a fair amount as a duet, different kinds of gigs. And that's, as I said earlier, that was why we shot these videos and the sound to try to drum up some business, and then it turned into an album.
Yeah, no, I like it. Yeah. Do it again. Do it again. And now, Little Black Train, is that you singing all the parts?
Yeah. Well,
wow.
What happened on that one was we had recorded 12 songs, and we got to the end, and one of them just really wasn't up to the quality of the rest of them. It just the lead was terrible, and it wasn't sounding good. So I was going to go with 11 songs, but I guess because I grew up on albums, I always like 12 songs. So I went into the studio at Transparency Audio and just laid down. I think I got up to 5 voices, and then kept it simple. But I just pictured a classic gospel quintet doing an a cappella song. So that was it. And it's an old 1800. It's from the 19th century. What you call a spiritual pre-gospel.
I love gospel music.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily religious, but I am when it comes to gospel music.
Yeah, I love it too. Yeah, all kinds. I mean, I like the real southern white stuff and the deep black church stuff and all everything about that.
Yeah, it is. It is like, hey, it's like a channeling thing. It's like everything's out there. It's like I'm going, I'm going up to the sky. Or I'm going down. Either one, there's no in between. There's no limbo land, right? You're going up or down. That's it.
Yeah.
But now I wanted to ask you this because I was reading your bio and everything, and I'm going, we've talked over the years, but there's something I found that I didn't know about you, and that is that not only do you soak up the roots of Americana, right, jazz, blues, everything, but you've also played electric music. I can't even say it. What do you call it?
Rock and roll.
Electric. No, but
electronic music.
Yeah, and then no, just that Chinese classical music.
Oh yeah, I dropped out at one point. I've liked Chinese classical music for a long time. It's really beautiful music, although definitely not for everyone. And about several years ago, I kind of dropped out of all other kinds of music and studied Chinese classical music for a 5-year period. I learned this instrument called the erhu, A-R-H-U, which is a 2-string fiddle that you prop on your knee, and the bow, instead of going over the strings, is actually between the strings, so that you push on one and you pull on the other.
Oh wow! Oh my
and I got a teacher, and I learned how to read Chinese music manuscripts, and I just studied that music for, like I say, about 5 years. I just devoted myself to it and got as good as I could get, and then at a certain point I just went, boy, do I miss the blues. and so I stopped.
But this is fascinating because it's really getting into the traditional sounds, right? And I wonder about this. Since our last conversation, we were talking about jazz, and I'm like, well, doesn't it come from all these different countries? We're like, Africa and everything. And then we interviewed a lady, Queen Esther, and she did a TED Talk on how country music comes from black musicians here in the States, and that it comes from the States, and it's not from Africa. Like, there's a whole thing here, right? Because they're the ones who picked up banjos and started playing, and that's how all this Americana and so everybody's arguing with it, right? So don't shoot me, right? But it's fascinating because when you go into the history of it, I got to send you that because you'll dig this. But my mind at the end of the day is now when you think about how huge the history of Chinese history is in America, right, in the West, in the development of the West, right?
Yeah.
How can it not sneak into being part of Americana in some way? It's got to be.
Oh yeah, well I'm sure it does in a way. Yeah, exactly.
I was just wondering about that. I was like, okay, so how and where? Just when I was reading that about you, I'm like, you're getting into the roots of music. Period. Wouldn't you do it like Ry Cooder? Wouldn't you go and do other countries' roots music just to do it and feel it?
Well,
they're doing?
in terms of my collection of music, I have an extremely eclectic collection of music. I like good music from almost any place in the world. I'm not just a kind of music, but in terms of actually playing it, I probably don't do that much. Certainly not as much as Ry, who will just really get into something. But I think I do that more in as a lot of critics have talked about, that the eclecticism of my albums. I jump from jazz to folk to blues to sort of pop kind of stuff. So that's the way I do that. But in terms of actually studying other cultures' music, other than owning it, I haven't sat down and really learned to play other styles, except for this bout of Chinese music.
That reminds me of, Lisa, was it the London Bridge, or were we in Vegas where we went on that gondola ride and that guy
Lake Havasu.
Yeah, Lake Havasu, and he was all dressed as an Italian, and we're in the gondola, and he sang Japanese opera.
And German opera.
It was odd.
And we went under and hey, by the way, today this is good to bring this up because this is important. Today is International Bat Awareness Day. Okay?
Yes.
And
Bat awareness?
Yes.
Oh.
And so when we went under the Lake Havasu Bridge, all these bats flew out. So he's singing and there's bats. And I wish I had the footage now, because it was just one of those unexpected weird things. And it was just one of those things you go like, where are we? What are we doing? And hey, we got to be nice to bats because it's not their fault about the virus. I'm just saying.
No, and they're
I just have to
valuable
bring
animals.
that up. Exactly. They're important pollinators and, just as important as bees. Okay, so going back to the Chinese classical music, living in San Francisco with Chinatown and everything, do you hear that music there?
Not unless you go look for it. There used to be a radio station on that played it, and that's how I got to learn a lot of it. But they've been off for a while. It's not, most Chinese people, especially young people, listen to Chinese pop music or other Asian pop musics and stuff. The classical stuff is always there, but it's you just can't. You have to kind of seek it out. When I was involved in it, I ran into a number of people and organizations and stuff that are around the Bay Area, and there's some excellent musicians around the Bay Area that play that. But it's not a regular thing, and you don't see concerts for it advertised much and stuff. I happened to run into two really wonderful teachers, and they were doing a fair amount of it. Oh, actually, that's an interesting story. At one time, I went to see one of the teachers. He was playing at a street fair, and so I went and watched him perform. And afterwards, I walked up to they had a merch table there where they were selling his CDs and stuff, and I was looking it over, and I said to the lady selling it, yeah, actually the man on stage is and I've forgotten his name now, is is my Arhu teacher, and she said, "Oh, are you James?" And my day was made. I went,
Hey.
you know of my Arhu playing? Oh my God.
Hey, you're out there, yeah. But this is so cool. I mean, that's what I love about your area. It's so multicultural.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So when and the music scene. I mean, you've even just going up north. Like I want to go back to Bolinas and the other place that's up there, and I never pronounce it. Begins with an N. Um, it's on the way to Point Reyes, and it's in Marin County, I think, kind of on the coast. Naciento.
Naciento.
Yes.
Naciento, yeah. Naciento, yeah.
Yeah, that whole area to me feels like you could play like certain areas, like in the woodsy areas and stuff, could get into this album, Going Home. It could kind of have that vibe in there, but it's got to be interesting playing that music. Don't you feel like when you're playing it that you're back, in the swamps or out in Moonshine?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, as I said earlier, that's the music that really, when I was very young, like I was 14, and I discovered Delta blues, and I've just, I listen to all kinds of other stuff, but I always come back to it because it just, whatever it is, it grabs me to my soul. That's for sure.
So one of the album songs, you've got Big Road Blues, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, okay, so I want to ask you this. Now, if you're going to go on a road trip, right?
Okay.
Who would you have shotgun in there musically that you would want to, like, play their music, talk to them about their music, maybe pull over, have a jam session somewhere? Like, who would you
want
want
that's a
in
weird
car?
question.
I know, it's my new weird one. It's my new thing. Everyone's getting it.
The thing is, probably the people that I most admire, like Sun House and stuff, I wouldn't actually want to take a road trip with them because they were a little crazy and probably alcoholic. So I don't know about that, but I bet J.J. Cale would be fun since we've been talking about him. I think I could have a good conversation with him.
You know that you get pulled over, they'd be lighting up.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Willie Nelson's doing his Pass the Tote virtual concert on Monday. I'm just
is that
saying.
right?
Well, it's
Yeah.
it's 420 anyway. It's one of those things that happens. You never know who. Yeah, you could get into trouble, but hey, J.J. Cale would be fun to go on the road with. He used to live out in Fallbrook, California, and we used to live near there.
Oh, is that right?
So we used to go play music. Back in delivery days when we had the print magazine, I'd go around and, I would go around and, play his music and, just all through Fallbrook and go, come on, you're going to come out, right? Him and Vita Coolidge. Now those two.
Oh, is that right? Interesting.
She lived out there. I don't know if she still does or not, but, it is there. The other song I wanted to bring up, Love in Vain. That song, and I hate to say this, not anything bad, but I first learned about that song from the Rolling Stones, But,
sure. There's nothing bad about that.
No,
their version's pretty famous.
Yeah. I mean, that is a classic, and there's something, just that whole slide part of it, that had to be like joyous to cover.
I love that song. Again, that's one of those songs to me just perfectly written. It's interesting if you listen to the original Robert Johnson version. He does it very different. He does it a lot faster and kind of harder and faster. So my version is kind of taken from the Stones and taken from him as kind of a combination, and then of course whatever I add to it personally.
Now, who's Sweet Celine?
Oh, you won't believe it. It's Celine Dion.
Oh, no way.
I actually, the way songs come, I was sitting down watching TV one night, and she happened to be a guest star in some show, and suddenly the whole Sweet Celine just popped into my head, and I wrote the song right there, sitting watching Celine Dion, who I'm not a particularly big fan of, but I wrote her a song.
Oh my God!
Nice.
This is taking some interesting turns. Now
Well, you never know where
classical
songs are going to pop up from.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Is, and Sugar Rush. We got to play Sugar Rush because I really want to play. I love that song, and isn't that on one of your other albums too?
Yeah, it is actually. Both those songs are on other albums. Again, because I hadn't planned on this as an album, they were just ones we covered for our demo. And so when it came time to make it an album, I just said, well, here they are, so I'll use it. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I've covered Sugar Rush before, and I'm actually thinking I'm in the midst of creating a full band album, so we might cover it even again. Who knows?
Hey, that's cool. So when you play in your band, are you out in San Francisco or in a specific area?
Yeah, we're pretty much Bay Area.
Oh, very cool, very cool. So I definitely want to play that. But can we play it now? Because we can break rules, right, and do what we want. Here it is, everyone. Sugar Rush. Take a listen.
Hush, hush, a sugar rush. Can't get enough of your candy. I say hush, 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 a sugar rush. I can't get enough of your candy. Slow as molasses, this little lass has sure been pulling my taffy. Candy kisses, licorice twists. These are the things that I would miss if you were gone, my sweet little bonbon. I can't get enough of your candy. Hush, hush, a sugar rush. Can't get enough of your candy. I say hush, 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 sugar rush. I can't get enough of your candy. Slow as molasses, this little lass has sure been pulling my taffy. Take a little hop to my candy shop. Take a little lick of my lollipop. Take a little tug on my Turkish taffy. I can't get enough of your candy. They make me smile. You light up my eyes like a nonpareil. I got no excuse, I got the sweet tooth blues. I can't get enough of your candy. Hush, hush, a sugar rush. Can't get enough of your candy. I say hush, 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 sugar rush. I can't get enough of your candy. Slow as molasses, this little lass has sure been pulling my taffy. Said I can't get enough of your candy.
Everyone, that was Sugar Rush. Again, Blind Lemon Pledge, the brand new album. It's the 8th album, Goin' Home. You can get it at blindlemon-pledge.com and learn about all of James's music there, and also go to Amazon to get the album right there. But James, I dig that. That must have been so much fun to write.
That's one of my favorite songs, and it's a good one too because it really can offend some people, and I'm always for that.
It's funny. Did you, the pop? Did you get the pop first time out, or did you have to practice?
No, that's an overdub. That's an overdub.
I want to see that one live.
And that was a last minute overdub. I was just in the studio and went, God, that needs a pop right there. So.
I know. I thought that was classic. You know, I've got a joke, but I can't tell it because it's a nun joke. But anyway, oopsie. Anyway.
Well, I've written just a couple of double entendre songs, and they're called Hokum Blues, Hokum, And one of the interesting things about Hokum Blues is that Thomas A. Dorsey, who is the father of gospel music, started out his career as Georgia Tom, who did this kind of song, Hokum Blues. Like his most famous one was one called Tight Like That. So that's how life goes sometimes.
That's funny. Now that is funny.
I know it's don't start me because I'll be in trouble. It's
it
Friday,
goes.
and anything can happen. Now listen, you've also got on there Fever that I did not expect. Peggy Lee, and just kind of. I think because we're near Palm Springs, we hear that kind of music out here. Fever and then Nancy Sinatra style and the Rat Pack. We're between Vegas and Palm Springs. So, but this is like that's a different style, Fever.
Well, there's the other famous recording of it, certainly not as famous as Peggy Lee's, was a blues man called Little Willie John, and I think he had an earlier version than hers, although I can't be sure of. But my version is much closer to his. It doesn't have the arpeggio descending thing that she does and all that. It's just I only have two chords in mine. It's just two chords,
So I dig it.
It was a real simplified thing.
And the other song too, you're doing "It's Too Late to Cry." I love that because you do you guys talk about it too. It's like a Stormy Monday style in there, and it's another cover I used to do is Stormy Monday, and you know those runs, and once you hear it, it's like it gives you this ease of this is where you're going. You know what I mean? It's like
Well, I was kind of sure that most people hadn't heard that song that I did. It's Too Late to Cry, which is a Lonnie Johnson song, and he's a really great artist. And so, for some reason, I sure can't remember because it's been years now, I thought of wedding that song to the Stormy Monday chords, and it worked perfectly. The meter of the song just fit it right. So.
Sweet. So what's next?
Oh well, I'm in the midst. Assuming life goes even close to back to normal, I'm in the midst of recording the band, the full band, the quintet, which has. Me on guitar and vocals, and Peter Grinnell, my bass player, and Scott Williams on drums, and Winston Andrews on harmonica, and then Cal Chiola on violin. And when you hear Cal, well, you've heard him on the folk album. He played on the folk album. He's an incredible violinist, and the whole band together, I just really love it. We love playing together, and so we hadn't actually done a band album, so I decided it was time to do that. So that's in the works, and we in fact had a recording session set up that had to get canceled because of shelter in place.
Yeah. Well, hopefully this whole situation will. Yeah, it's weird, man. It's just weird.
Yeah.
It feels apocalyptic.
I think there's going to be like a whole lot of albums and cake recipes and stew recipes and things called shelter in place,
Yeah.
It's like a new monopoly, shelter in place, and you really don't ever get to Park Avenue.
I know. And it's going to be a whole, fashion line of masks, because I feel like it's not going to go away. You know what I mean?
You start wearing them just for fun.
Like people are going to be pandemic prepared now. We thought Y2K and the plague, which is like that. But, there's, I think, I'll get political, so I'll shut up.
Well, I saw a mask online the other day that looked like the horrid thing from Alien that latches onto your face.
That's cool. I like that. That's my style.
And it was perfect. It was perfectly done. It was just wonderful.
I love it. So, what song would you like us to close your segment with?
Well, why don't you do the last one, the gospel one, because that's kind of a nice close closer, and it's got a different sound than everything.
Perfect. We will. We want to thank you for joining us again, James, and we can't wait for number 9.
Yeah. Lisa and Nancy, it's always a pleasure to talk to you.
You too. And everyone, again, blindlemon-pledge.com is the website to go to and to dig into all of James' music. Like I said, it's awesome. Once you get in there, we play it all the time.
Yep.
And we want to thank the National Parks Arts Foundation again for sponsoring this segment. You can keep up with them at nationalparksartsfoundation.org. Okay, so here it is. We will play your gospel. This is so cool. Little Black Train. Here it is. Take care.
All right, you go too.
Oh, the little black train is coming. Get all your business right. You better get your house in order, for that train gonna be here tonight. God spake to Hezekiah in a mission from on high. You better get your house in order, for you soon will surely die. He turned his face to the wall just to hide his shame and tears. He got his business fixed all right, and God spared him 15 years. Oh, the little black train is coming. Get all your business right. You better get your house in order, for that train gonna be here tonight. Some men and some women, they care nothing for the gospel light. To that bell ring and that whistle blow, and a little black train inside. Oh, that little black train in St. John, with a long black baggage car. Has all your sins and your wicked souls gonna meet you at the judgment door. Oh, the little black train is coming. Get all your business right. You better get your house in order, for that train gonna be here tonight. I'm standing at the station with my ticket in my hand. For the little black train is coming, Lord, and I'm gonna join that band. Oh, the little black train is coming. Get all your business right. You better get your house in order, for that train gonna be here tonight. 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 For that train gonna